On the agenda tonight, we're going back to just a couple of weeks ago to take a look at Lizzy McAlpine performing Older. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So, I'm doing this video from so recently because I have said in previous analysis videos, if there is a video that's requested that is a modern day performance and very recent and it is totally authentic, then I'm going to show it on the channel just to show that these kinds of performances can be found and that not everything is digitally manipulated from a pitch perspective when we're talking about lead vocals. So we are going to be getting Lizzy and the guys up on screen. And this is from the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. For reference as well, I am probably going to be jumping into this, so there's a link in the description below if you guys want to watch this without me interrupting it. But let's see how Lizzy gets on.
Carousel ride, pay for your ticket, watch the red moon climb. Sick to my stomach, can't find the ground. Stuck in a loop, watch the curtain come down. Thought it'd be over by now, thought you would leave, thought I would come to my senses. Wish I was stronger somehow, wish it was easy. Somewhere I lost all my senses. I wish I knew what the end is.
So I'm just going to jump in here because when we're looking at Lizzy's voice, you can see that, and you can hear that she just sounds pitch perfect the whole way through. And you can see that she is so spot on all the time. But I'm saying this from a natural vocal perspective because it's impossible to be on these lines all the time, as we know, when you're talking about a natural voice. And, you know, even though this kind of thing just sounds spot on, you can see that we are sharp here, but we do hit a lot of lines. And this is where I think when you don't have an appreciation of an artist's voice beforehand and you don't really know what to listen for and maybe how to read pitch graphs, you might think, oh, well, this is obviously pitch corrected because she's on a line there. And yeah, as we go through, oh, you know, she's kind of over the line here as well. And down here, she starts on the line. But this is the great thing about the natural voice is it is not looking just for where they're on the lines, it's looking for where their voice naturally flows, like here when we're going slightly flat. And the fact that we are actually flat here, and if we do a line through here, this would actually be flat, and this is now a little bit sharp. So the natural voice does come through. And just to demonstrate the point a little bit more, I want you to listen to the isolated vocal.
Sick to my stomach, can't find the ground.
And that's such a great example there of being, you know, pretty much spot on here with the C4. That second part was absolutely on the line. I mean, when I say absolutely on the line, you know, within reason, because we were slightly sharp with just the natural variation in the voice of the vocal cords vibrating. But what was great was that little drift sharp that we had. Listen again.
Can't find the ground.
It just kind of peaked sharp, which is great. And I'm just going to take this back so that you can listen to the voice. This is just a voice and a microphone, and you can hear, and people that know about digital pitch correction, auto tune, things that change effectively the audio file, the digital file that is the voice, and replaces it, it's destructive, and you hear the processing. Whereas listening to this voice, straight away you can hear that there's no processing, no post-processing on this vocal. Listen to it, and wear headphones, turn it up, and see if you can hear anything robotic going on with this.
I'm fine the ground, stuck in a loop, watch the curtain come down. Thought it'd be over by now, thought you would leave.
I mean, it's really interesting as well, because we've got a G4 here, which is, it's there, and it's this kind of sound. There's a lot of air in there. So Lizzy's voice is not hitting a high note, especially for a female vocalist. This would probably be considered as quite a low voice in terms of the pitch that she's hitting for a female, but she's going into a light head voicey kind of sound with a low note. So it's really interesting that she's kind of sounding like she's going higher, but that's not a really high note for me. And I'm a guy, so it's interesting that it sounds still, because of being a female vocalist, and being a female, it means that her voice is going to sound like that. It's going to resonate differently. It doesn't have the same body to it as a guy's voice would have, but it's just interesting that it is a relatively low note, but the way that she manufactures it just makes it stand out in the song as that higher note by making it lighter and more head voicey.
Thought I would come to my senses.
I mean, it's all really light, even down there. If I go up to the F4, thought I, that's the note. That she's singing, but obviously she's making it sound a lot higher by having that kind of, obviously she can't get that. She might be able to get a bit of chest voice weight into it, but that's not her style artistically. So this is another thing, just every singer's different, every artist is different, and this is the way that she uses her voice in order to hit these notes that would be low, but she kind of puts it in a place that just makes it sound unique.
Would come to my senses. Wish I was stronger somehow. Wish it was easy. Somewhere I lost all my senses. I wish I knew what the end is.
I mean, listen to the amount of air that we've got going on here. And, just a quick mention of this vibrato. And it's actually quite fast. It's really subtle. We can see that, we're bang on pitch here, slightly sharp here, but it's a natural voice. So she's got this control of vibrato, but you almost can't notice it because of how subtle it is. She doesn't cover more pitch, and obviously I made it dynamically there a little bit stronger so you can hear that vibrato, but it'll be with the air you'll be able to maybe make out the vibrato more if it covered more pitch, but it's really subtle here.
I wish I knew what
and that the what is almost just a W and then air. Kind of like that. But you know what she's saying. So real subtlety in the way that she's just producing this vocal.
the end is.
And that's the note that she's hitting at the bottom there. just slightly sharp of the G3. Let me just take that back again.
And it
And is. So this is the range that she's singing in, but listen to the way that it doesn't sound like obviously me singing it. She's going in a light sound. Heavier would be yeah, but she's not going to get the kind of body I can get into it, but she would be able to get a hell of a lot more body into it, but she's not singing it in that way. She's just being super light all the way through her range in order to get this vocal consistency and the tonal consistency from the low note to the high note of the song.
what the end is.
So I'll tell you what, let's resume, bringing the instrumentation back.
Watch it all pass. Mom's getting older.
And we just had a passage there that was so close to these lines, and like I said, you know, this is really, really accurate from a pitch perspective. I mean, when you're talking about kind of hitting lines, maybe 2 or 3 times in a row. I say this about the very best singers. They hit lines 2 or 3 times in a row, and Lizzy can do that, but it's never going to be something that's just all the time. I mean, if we are being really strict, and we have to be quite strict with it, you know, we're pretty much on the line here. If we zoomed into it, you'd see that that is flat of the line, and just to demonstrate that, let me just zoom in, find where that was, and it was just here. So you can see here how the waves are flat of the line, and then we go up sharp. But you know, when we're looking at it at a distance, it looks like it's directly over the line. But then here, if we are being strict, we're slightly sharp. But then we now get another note on the line. You've got to understand what a natural voice is, and when you're watching somebody, this is it, you've got to have an appreciation of the singer's ability when you're reading this kind of graph. I mean, it's lucky here that it is such a stripped back performance. You can hear there's no processing, so you don't even have to really worry about pitch correction. But when you're looking at a voice, some people mistakenly think, oh, this is pitch correction because it's on the line.
Where no one is dying.
I mean, listen to that. The way that we were flat, and then we went up, and actually between the notes sharp. So again, I mean, this is great to hear on a performance that is so recent. The fact that she's got the freedom to do this, and all it does is add vulnerability to her voice and the emotion of it, because she's got this light vocal dynamic to her voice that, you know, it is really sung in that way, to be vulnerable, to be, you know, quiet, to be unassuming, all those different things that come across, and the microtones in the voice and the pitch, so basically the bits between these notes, which are microtones, that's essential to the overall feeling of this performance.
And no one is hurt, and I have been good to you instead of making it worse. Thought it'd be over by now, thought you would leave.
Listen to this change in dynamic we've got now. Thought you would leave. We're now we're now connecting the vocal cords more because we're further into the performance. This is something that happens instrumentally all the time. Listen out for great instrumentalists, the way that they start out with any performance dynamically is going to be just lower. You know, overall, you know, the level of their playing is going to be more subtle. As the song progresses, they start adding more to it. They start leaning into things a little bit more, in exactly the same way that Lizzy, and Lizzy plays guitar as well, by the way, but here she's just providing the vocal, having this dynamic appreciation of using the voice like you would use an instrument, you know, whether it's being guitar or piano or any instrument that you play. You're making a journey out of that instrumental section, whatever it may be. So it's great because everything Lizzy's doing with her voice is being replicated on the piano here dynamically. It's moving along. So yeah, if you were to see it as a dynamic graph, you'd see it gradually, you know, climb up the mountain, which I always say about you want to leave the audience at the top of that mountain, you know, when you've finished that crescendo effectively. And this is exactly what's going on in this performance.
Thought I would come to my senses. Wish I was stronger somehow. Wish it was easy. Somewhere I lost all my senses. I wish I knew what the end is. I wish I knew what the end is.
And there we have it. So, I mean, just a great performance. Great that it just is what it is and has been left how it is. And I think everybody would agree here that there's no need to change this. And this is what's going on in the music industry nowadays, is they're changing everything, even great performances from great singers. So, yeah, I mean, double thumbs up to the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon just for just having a live performance and just leaving it as it is and allowing us to appreciate this voice and Lizzy as an artist, because at the end of the day, by allowing artists to perform and not editing their performances after the fact before then releasing it on TV or on YouTube, wherever it may be, it means that you're giving them their artistic license and you're giving the audience and fans the artist 100%, and it's, you know, totally unfiltered, and that's what fans want. That's why they're fans of artists, because they've checked them out, and usually check them out from a early stage in their career, and they've followed their progression and all that kind of stuff, so that, you know, when somebody like Lizzy is now on a big TV show, they're still getting the thing that they liked about the person in the first place. Yeah, just leave it as it is, as it was, it is what it is, and appreciate the art that it is. So, yeah, thank you guys for requesting this video, and yeah, great to jump into one that's so recent and is just a live performance, very much as they used to be back in the day. So, yeah, great. Thumbs up from me for this particular performance, and Lizzy as well. Fantastic vocal here. So, as always, keep those suggestions and requests coming in the comments section below. Let me know what you guys think, and if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!